The crash of my front door splintering at 2 a.m. tore through the stillness like a grenade. Four figures in fake cop uniforms burst into my lakeside cabin, their flashlights slicing the dark as they waved crowbars and barked demands about fines for overgrown grass. My pulse hammered as I grabbed my Colt .45, years of Marine training snapping into place. But the real terror hit when I bolted to my 12-year-old son Caleb's room. His bed was ice cold, empty for hours, his window ajar. Where was my kid, and how did he know this attack was coming? Let me take you back to our life before it all spiraled into chaos. Caleb and I lived in a rustic cabin on Lake Serenity, Minnesota, where loons sang at dawn and waves lulled us to sleep. 3 years ago, a drunk driver with forged insurance papers killed my wife, Emily, and walked free, exploiting legal gaps. That betrayal fueled my hatred for scammers and made our cabin a haven for me and Caleb, my tech genius son who spent hours on his laptop, coding what I assumed were kid-friendly projects, maybe Python or cybersecurity tutorials. Better than scrolling social media, I thought. In hindsight, I should have dug deeper into what he was really up to. Trouble started one Tuesday morning when a woman named Evelyn Hart appeared at our door, radiating HOA tyrant energy. She handed me a stack of documents thicker than my discharge papers, flanked by two muscle-bound guys who looked like they bench-pressed tractors. She claimed our lawn was a quarter-inch too tall, and our old pickup clashed with the lake's vibe, demanding $4,000 in fines. The paperwork looked official: letterhead, seals, even photos of our property with precise measurements. But something was off. Typos littered the pages, the photos seemed staged, and her enforcement team screamed hired goons, not officials. My military instincts flared. I demanded proof of this HOA's legitimacy. Evelyn waved more papers, threatening property seizure in 48 hours. It was laughable, but the effort behind it suggested a darker game. Caleb's reaction unsettled me. He's usually nosy about visitors, but he stayed upstairs, typing furiously. When I called him down after Evelyn left, he mumbled about a coding project. That night, he asked odd questions about neighbors' insurance claims, a tree that crashed through the Browns' roof last month. I chalked it up to his curious mind, but it gnawed at me. Later, I caught him at midnight, hunched over his laptop, researching Evelyn. Before he slammed it shut, I glimpsed property records and data tables. "Just school stuff, Dad," he said, but his eyes hid something big. Unbeknownst to me, Caleb had uncovered a scheme. Using his hacking skills, he'd tapped into public insurance databases and found 3 families hit with identical HOA violations, followed by accidents forcing cheap home sales. My 12-year-old had stumbled onto a multi-million-dollar insurance fraud ring while I fretted over fake fines. He'd even contacted the FBI tip line, working unofficially with Agent Sarah Lane to gather evidence, all while I thought he was gaming. 3 weeks later, my paranoia skyrocketed. Unmarked vans with tinted windows lingered down the street, watching our house. Our neighbor, Mr. Thompson, warned me during a walk about a pattern: fake HOA visits, then accidents like floods or fires, followed by forced sales. Sleep eluded me. I checked locks obsessively, my service weapon always close. What I didn't know was that Caleb had planted a listening device during Evelyn's second visit. He overheard her crew planning to neutralize witnesses to secure their next target: Thompson's $450,000 lakefront home. Caleb texted Agent Lane, who warned of 4 armed men nearing our cabin, with backup 15 minutes away. Refusing to flee and leave me vulnerable, Caleb activated hidden cameras and defenses he'd secretly installed, ready to protect our home. At 1:59 a.m., I woke to an eerie silencino waves. No creaks, just gravel crunching outside. Through the curtains, I saw 4 figures in tactical gear, moving with lethal precision, clutching crowbars and gear bags. My training kicked in. I grabbed my rifle, checked ammo, and raced to Caleb's room to get him to safety. But he was gone bed cold, laptop vanished, window open. Had they taken him? Or did he know this was coming? The open window hinted he'd left willingly, but how could a kid predict a tactical assault? At 2 a.m., the door exploded inward. Evelyn stormed in with 3 thugs in fake HOA vests, demanding surveillance gear. I aimed my .45, calling their bluff. "Private property. Leave now." Evelyn smirked, flashing a forged warrant. But I knew real warrants don't come with break-in tools at 2 a.m. Her goons charged me, but I used the cabin's layout and combat skills to drop two, using a table for cover. Upstairs, Evelyn trashed Caleb's room, cursing about military-grade equipment she hadn't expected. Then a gunshot froze my blood. "Drop your weapons. Feds are watching." Caleb's voice rang out, calm and authoritative. He stood atop the stairs, gripping my backup .22 rifle like a pro, one of Evelyn's men bleeding from a leg wound. "Dad, I've been with the FBI for 6 months, he said as I subdued a thug. "Evelyn's stolen $190,000 from 8 families. I've got her whole operation on tape. My son, an FBI informant, had been running a sting from our basement, where he'd hidden cameras and defenses I never knew existed." Before I could react, FBI vehicles roared up, and Agent Lane's team cuffed Evelyn and her crew. Caleb's cameras had captured it all: her fake HOA act, forged papers, and plans for staged accidents. The fallout was surreal. Caleb had joined the FBI's youth cyber program to track fraudsters, using skills I mistook for hobbies. His evidence secured Evelyn's 8-year sentence and $190,000 in restitution. The judge lauded Caleb's courage, shielding his identity, while I grappled with pride and hurt. My son had battled the same criminals who'd exploited Emily's death, but he'd hidden it from me. "No more secrets," I told him on our dock, the lake shimmering. He nodded, asking to keep helping others. "Team Harper from now on," I said, vowing to guide him. Our community recovered. Thompson's home was saved, and I led the neighborhood watch, leveraging my military skills. Caleb balanced FBI work with school and fishing, while I consulted for the FBI on rural crime. Life normalized until Caleb's 13th birthday. Packing for a fishing trip, he found an unmarked envelope under our door. A photo of him leaving school, his head circled in red, with a note. "The Harper family cost us $2 million in 8 years. Interest compounds. Collection soon." The landlord. Caleb recognized the handwriting from Evelyn's prison letters to the landlord. Our lights died. Caleb's sensors went offline, and our phones lost signal. "Dad, someone with Pro-Tech just trapped us," he whispered. Agent Lane's emergency line revealed the truth. The landlord was Nathan Cole, an ex-insurance mogul running an $8 million fraud network across 8 states, known for erasing threats. 6 vehicles surrounded our cabin, 12 to 15 operatives with jamming tech closing in. Lane offered witness protection, but Caleb refused to abandon our neighbors. "We stopped Evelyn," he said. "We'll stop Cole." As car doors slammed outside, I grabbed our weapons, realizing Caleb had exposed a criminal empire and it was hunting us. The cabin plunged into darkness, and our fight for survival reignited. What would you do if your kid was outwitting killers under your nose? Guess what's next? This isn't over.